Welcome to my life and coasters, where at the time this video is releasing, there's only 1 week to go until Hyperia is set to open at Thorpe Park. Now in this video I'm going to be talking all about the opening day and the questions that Thorpe Park have answered. Now, a few weeks ago, I think about 3.5 weeks before it was set to open, so like 2.5 weeks ago, basically I did a video saying what I expect them to do. Now Thorpe Park have said what they are going to do. So I did that video about 2 weeks ago, and now I'm doing this video with what they're actually going to do, what's confirmed. So I'm going to be watching this FAQs video that the park released. So yeah, let's get into it. Right, so here we go then, let's watch this video.
Hello! So, as some of you may have heard, we're gearing up to launch the UK's tallest and fastest roller coaster, Hyperia, on the 24th of May. Well, we couldn't be any more excited, and it sounds like many of you share our excitement.
Yeah, I just want to mention about the speed of Hyperia and how the park said it's 81 miles an hour and how it will be the fastest. In this video I did originally sort of mention when I recorded this, I'm not sure if it will actually be the fastest. Obviously I'm pretty sure it is going to be. I just always have found it interesting how they confirm that speed before the coaster had even gone vertical, I'm pretty sure. So yeah, I guess they could have obviously worked it out. But it just seems like the coaster sort of, they weren't 100% sure when they confirmed it, and now they sort of can't go back on the fact it is the fastest coaster in the UK.
To give you all the information you need when visiting during the opening period. We've extended the opening hours until 8 PM on Friday the 24th and Saturday the 25th of May. Tickets for those days are limited, so if you want to be part of the opening excitement, best to pre-book tickets to avoid disappointment. But don't worry, we're open until at least 6 PM every day during May half term, so there's plenty of time to ride Hyperia. There's lots of details to take you through, and some are specific to the 24th and the 25th of May, but some may apply to visits beyond this date. Also, keep an eye on our social channels for a detailed Hyperia accessibility video coming soon. Okay, safety first. We're expecting the opening period of Hyperia to be pretty popular, so we've put a number of measures in place to ensure a smooth and, most importantly, safe day. We know everyone is incredibly excited to be among the first to ride, but as we open the gates to the park, it's important that you do not run or push. The queue...
Yes, this is really good to see the park have put out don't run or push. I mean, I think don't push should be a given, but with a do not run, that's really good, because that's just going to mean it's going to be more of a calm opening day. I'm sure that at the points where it is in people's control how quick they move, that there will be some people moving very quickly, but only walking.
They move slow at times whilst marshals walk you, but please be patient and follow their instructions. On arrival, you'll see 2 queues leading to security checks. The priority lane is for ride access pass users, hotel guests, and winners of our Club 236 competition. All other ticket types to join the main queue. You'll join a waiting area ahead of the ticket turnstiles. Those with a pre-booked ride access pass reservation can collect...
Yeah, so the first thing I'm seeing from this then is before security, people for Hyperia are already going to be split, because you've got everyone who wants for all other rides at Thorpe Park, which I imagine that queue will be pretty much empty. And then you'll have people for Hyperia. So yeah, that's quite interesting. So before... the Hyperia queue will be starting as soon as you arrive at the park.
Their time card from the accessibility kiosk and join the waiting area afterwards. Please note, this queue will move slower than the usual to ensure a safe entry process.
So yeah, this is where I imagine that everyone's going to have to scan their tickets, get into the park, and then go down their each individual sort of lanes into sort of Hyperia. You'll have the all other rides as well.
If you arrive in the morning and wish to ride Hyperia first, you'll need to join the holding queue. This queue starts at the head of the bridge. Just keep left and follow the...
Yeah, so I don't know if they're going to do this with fences. I imagine they will. It'll be interesting to see how it's going to work, because obviously you're going to have exits for people who want to leave the park. So, and that bridge is not the most wide thing. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that's going to work.
Once we're ready, we'll slowly walk you through the lost...
Yeah, and then another note, we can see all of these queue line. You've got Vortex and Zodiac. It says check the app for opening times. These are obviously definitely going to open later, I think, if they open at all. So yeah, that's interesting.
Via a step-free path to the holding area.
Yeah, so you see where it says stop. This is where they're going to do a hold. I imagine this will be the probably 10 AM hold that they do before 10. and then they'll let people out into the holding area and extended queue. If you're wondering exactly where this is, it's the final turn of Colossus or Tacoteria area of the park.
It is important that you do not run or deviate from the designated path. Once you join, queue jumping rules will apply. If you are here to experience our other thrilling rides or plan to ride Hyperia later in the day, use the right-hand lane on the bridge and pass through the dome as usual. This system may be in place beyond opening weekend.
Yeah, so that just means everyone
you'll see signs
basically,
direct.
I don't think they want people going down to the Colossus gate in the morning, which is totally fair enough. It just seems to try and encourage people to use the one over the Amity Beach and the one down by Rush.
The holding area and extended queue line for Hyperia will be located here, within the lakeside picnic area.
Yeah, so as we can see here then, it looks to be like it's going to be this massive sort of cattle pen. Now with Voltron, I know they did a very similar thing at a back of house area of the park. But yeah, I think this is quite a good thing they've done. I don't imagine the queue will ever exceed this extended queue area. It depends sort of how full this area is of cattle pen and fences and stuff. But yeah, I imagine it'll only sort of fill this area most of the time.
Here, the line splits into two. One side, you'll find the main and single rider queue, and the other is the ride access pass, step-free and fast-track entry.
Yeah, so that's another interesting feature. Single riders will have to use the main queue. I think this is just a way of Thorpe Park encouraging people not to use single rider, because the maximum sort of time you could cut off, even if single riders walk on, is going to be 90 minutes of queue.
These queues are only shared in the holding area. Once at the main ride entrance, these queues will be split accordingly. Please be aware, the front row queue will not be available during the opening.
Yes, so obviously they've just mentioned the front row queue won't be available during the opening period. I mean, this is a shame, but I can understand why, because I don't believe front row is going to actually have a queue. I think it's going to be more you can just ask to wait for the front. And as well as that, obviously there's a lot of crossing points, cross pathways. Yeah, as long as that is organised, it should work just fine.
Period, but we'll update our FAQs when this is ready to go. Before you join the queue, you may wish to stock up on snacks from the island shop, pick up a coffee from the coffee shack, and visit the toilets located in admissions or the lower dome. Staff in Gold and High Vis will be on hand with the holding area. They can assist with questions and toilet breaks. If you're in a group, we ask that only one member leave to approach staff. Others must remain in place. Please be aware that the ride test seat isn't available from the holding area. So, if you're unsure about suitability to ride, you can speak to a staff within the area who can assist.
Yeah, so a couple of notes that I've noticed after the video. If you are unsure about the test seat, I believe how it's going to work is once you're in that holding area queue, if you go and approach a staff member, they should be able to escort you through to the test seat. Then I imagine you go back to your place in the queue. As well, really good to see there's going to be breaks, I imagine, for the toilets, and if it's a long queue, probably food as well. Because, yeah, that queue, I imagine we could be looking at something exceeding 6 or 7 hours at the worst point.
Remember, Thorpe Park is a safe space for everyone. So if you experience any behaviour that makes you feel uncomfortable, spot queue jumping, or if someone is smoking within the area, you can discreetly report this via the info tab of the Thorpe Park app, or by scanning the QR codes within the queue line. Staff will also be on hand to assist. Once Hyperia is ready to open, you'll be guided slowly to the main ride entrance.
Yeah, so one thing that I didn't sort of notice with this is it seems this is more just a holding area before Hyperia opens. Another note is that the Club 236 winners, I always thought would be going on Hyperia before 10 AM, before the ride opens, but these are just going to be first people to ride it once it is sort of open, I imagine. So, yeah, from what I was reading, there's about 300 Club 236 guests. So, yeah, they'll have to clear the queue first. So I imagine just like the general public won't start riding Hyperia until we're looking at 10:30.
This will happen in stages. During this time, the queue may stop and start, but please be patient. There is no rush.
Yes, this is another note, obviously, with it, I think they're going to batch people into the queue line, rather than it moving quick like Hyperia will once you're in the main queue line. I imagine it'll be they'll batch it 100 people at a time or something, so it'll stop, then it'll move again in another 10 minutes.
Other than the winners of our Club 236 competition, no one will board Hyperia until the queue lines have been walked to the road entrance. Remember, queue jumping rules apply. We're filming this a few weeks ahead of the opening, so please excuse the dust. Hyperia will open with a fabulous ceremony, and this can be viewed from within Hyperia's plaza. For those outside of this area or those not at the park, you'll be able to stream this via our live YouTube channel or on Instagram.
Opening ceremony for Hyperia. I don't know who's going to see this. I think you're going to have to be right at the front of that queue, and I still don't know if you're likely to see it. I think this is more for Club 236 winners, and obviously you can live stream it. It's sort of like, it's not necessarily like where you've got to make a decision if you want to watch the opening ceremony or join the queue. From what I've been reading, if you're not at the front of the queue, you won't just be able to watch it from the pathways.
The extended queue will remain open throughout the day and will only close when Hyperia's queue can be contained within the main area. If you wish to ride during the day, then you must join the extended queue. The entrance to all queue types is to the left of Taketeria, opposite Rush.
Yeah, so another thing that wasn't made the clearest in this video, and that is when will the queue close. Thorpe Park have confirmed that as long as you're in that extended queue line, not just main physical queue line, by 8 PM, you will be able to ride. I'm quite surprised they've done this, but yeah, they have, which is really good of them, I think.
Queue for Hyperia will remain open until the advertised park closing time. As long as you are in the queue before this time, you are good to ride. The plaza surrounding Hyperia may be closed during peak periods. During these times, access to the Hyporium shop may only be via the ride exit.
Yes, one thing I want to mention with this, if you want to get merch from the shop, I 100% recommend it after going on the ride, because I don't think you're going to get into the shop at any other time, because you've got to think there's going to be 20 people every train coming out through the shop, so yeah, and everyone has to come through the shop, I believe.
Fast Track is available on a strictly limited basis and is likely to adapt while Hyperia finds her feet, so it's best to check thorpepark.com/fast track ahead of your visit for the latest information. All this information also applies to those staying in the Thorpe Shark cabins, but I also have a few extra details just for you. On the 24th and the 25th of May, Vibes Bar and Kitchen will open early at 7 AM. For these days, we're also introducing a grab-and-go breakfast. Speak to staff on entry to the restaurant for details. We're expecting breakfast to be busiest between 7 and 9 AM, so please consider this when you're planning your morning. Breakfast is served until 10. Please note, Hotel Fast Track does not include Hyperia. Those staying in our Hyperia-themed rooms can collect a one-shot Hyperia Fast Track from hotel reception. For other themed rooms, one-shot Fast Track tickets may be available to purchase. Please ask at reception. Okay, so that's a lot of information to take in. But following this guide will ensure you have the best day possible. Details such as rider requirements, FAQs and Fast Track can be found in the Thorpe Park app. We cannot wait for you all to find your fearless on Hyperia. See you on opening day.
So yeah, I'll quickly go over the video. Yeah, so basically, extended queue, good to see. Do not run, do not push. Given really, I think. I'm not too sure about the do not run, but yeah, there's certainly the do not push. I don't know. That's just common sense really, isn't it? And as well as that, the area being closed, that's quite a surprising one to see. But I feel like it's going to work better because with what I've seen from when Nemesis Reborn opened and when the Curse of Manor opened, not having the area closed meant it felt a lot more busy and overcrowded and just wasn't very pleasant. So yeah, I think it's a good thing that the area is going to be closed during peak periods. And then another thing that I saw they mentioned on Facebook is that staff will be directing people, so I imagine you probably won't even be able to hang around in the area after you've ridden Hyperia, which will be interesting to see how that all works. So yeah, that is basically it for this video, going over the Hyperia opening. As for what time to arrive, I really don't know. It's worth noting a couple of things. They have confirmed this on Facebook. There will be no toilets available or ticket sales or admissions until after security is open. So if you've got any sort of more questions about this, it'll be worth just asking the park if you're not sure. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.